Hi guys, welcome to another Living with Diabetes video. Yay! Oh dear. Okay, this week has been pretty stressful, so I'm going to go into that in a minute. I just want to mention a couple of things. First off, now, video schedules. As of this week, so starting today, the video schedule for this channel is going to be a living with diabetes like update type video like these, whether I talk about my goals once a week on a Monday or a Tuesday, and then a what's the word I'm looking for here, and then I don't know what to call them, but a video explaining then like other videos that are to do with diabetes that aren't these update videos on the goals that I'm doing on a Friday. Okay, so that's going to be the schedule. So for example, this week, today you're getting the goal video and the update type thing, and then Friday I'm going to be talking about my condition and the condition of type 1 diabetes, and I'm going to explain it to those people who haven't got it. So if you have it, then you probably won't want to bother watching that video. Yeah, and tell me any requests that you have for those kind of videos as well. I'm definitely going to be doing one on my diagnosis and stuff like that, so yeah, just request it in the down bar. Okay, yes, anyway, so this week has been pretty hectic. I don't know whether you could tell in my last video or you could tell in this video. I actually came down with a cold sort of midweek last week, and it was very difficult to keep my goal up of doing my Levemir on time because I was feeling ill, and you know, I just wanted to spend all my time in bed, and there were a couple of days where I, say, overslept or went to bed earlier, or so yeah, I wouldn't call it a success, but I wouldn't call it a complete failure. I feel like it went well for the first couple of days. It kind of went a bit hazy in the middle, and then in the evenings it was better at the weekend, and stuff like that. There were a couple of occasions, I think most of the week, there were a couple of occasions where it was an hour or an hour and a half out, but I did it within the hour and a half, which is better than like 3 hours out, which I've been before. So it was a success, but it was a failure. So that's how this week's gone and the goal's going and things like that. Another thing I did want to mention, I'm trying to keep this video fairly short and sweet, is that it is now half term, and I thought since it's half term I could introduce a second goal. The reason being is because I was focusing a lot on trying to get my Levemir done, and I felt like my other insulins was suffering and that area got worse, and I was like, I know I need to just do every insulin, otherwise there's no point in trying to change the Levemir around if I'm not, like, be good with the Levemir if I'm not doing the other insulins. And then I told myself, well no, look, if you get this goal down then you can work on the next one. But I decided, because at night it was making me feel like, I'm not doing anything, I'm not improving it because I'm just worrying about my Levemir, you know, and I thought to myself, just because it's half term and because this week falls perfectly well, I'm going to introduce my second goal, which is to make sure that I do my insulin, any insulin for meals that I'm having at home. So in half term that'll be lunch, dinner and breakfast, but in the school year, or when I'm, so not in the school year, but when I'm at college, it will be lunch, dinner and breakfast, and sometimes lunch if I'm at home or whatever. So that's the goal. So yeah, and today it's gone fairly okay. There was one that I did immediately straight afterwards, and there was one where there's like a 15-minute, 20-minute gap. But, you know, one is better than none, and that is the goal for this week. So I'm having 2 goals for this week, just because I thought that was so perfect for half term, because I'm at home more and I'm in a little less stressed environment. Like in the morning I'm not like shoving it down my throat or anything like that. So that's the goal for the next 2 weeks for the Levemir. Obviously I'm going to keep continuing to do them, but that's something I'm going to be focusing on more for the next 2 weeks, and for the next 3 weeks on the insulin front type thing, on the insulin when I'm for meals when I'm at home. And I think what I'm going to do is, I said I was going to do them every 3 weeks. This may be really complicated. I'm going to do the goals for 3 weeks, but on the last week I'm going to overlap them. So it'll be the first week of one goal and the last week of the other. So I have 2 goals going on those weeks, just because that I feel like will enable me to kind of, I don't know, I just feel like that will speed the process up a little bit, and that is important to me because I'm aware that I need to do something quite quickly before this gets any worse. So that is what I'm going to be doing, and it's just an exception this week that I've started it 1 week earlier, just because it's half term. So after saying all of that, then that is pretty much what I wanted to update on. I don't really know what else to say. I actually had a hypo last week, which for me that seemed really, really odd, because I rarely have hypos, and it was quite nice because I was like, you know what, I can do this. And that was the day where I did my 11 meal on time. And I know hypos aren't good, and people don't view them as good or like things like that, but it just goes to show that my blood doesn't always have to be high. Like, I did my Levemir, and I also did some insulin for tea quite quickly afterwards, and I was like, oh, and then the next morning I woke up and I was low. So it does prove that you can. I wasn't particularly hypo. I know if you're American and you watch this, you might get a bit confused as to the results because yours is like really different. My blood was 3.7, so that isn't very hypo. Because like over sort of 4.5 is not really hypo at all. I mean, over 4 isn't really hypo. It's a little bit low, but not really. But it's like, oh, my blood sugar can be low. So yeah, that was interesting for me, and that kind of boosted me a little bit, and I was like, yes, I can do this. So yeah, I'm going to stop talking now, but that's my update. I don't want to bore you guys. So yes, and hopefully when I next go to the hospital, my HbA1c will be lower. And also, I've been thinking about a couple of things that I want to mention. The first thing is a positive attitude really does help. I am pessimistic, and I'm always like, I'm not perfect. I never get anything perfect, and I've got to be like, well, actually, I'm like, I could be good, and I'm doing something a step towards perfect. And every single insulin shot I do, and every single thing is a step in the right direction, and I've got to be like, yes, I'm doing something, rather than feel bad about it. Be like, I'm doing something, and being positive really, really does help. Another thing I've noticed, not noticed, it's decided in doing is if my HbA1c goes down or is at a very good level, because I mean, obviously I was thinking about this the other day, if my HbA1c, I don't know what's like perfect, but if it's pretty good once, and then I'm like, but I don't want it any further dropping because it's at the right level. I don't want it to go higher. If I manage to keep it at that level, what am I going to do? So anyway, if it's good level or it's decreased or it's got near where it should be, my HbA1c, I get to buy a nail polish, like an OPI nail polish, because obviously I buy nail polish all the time. I buy nail polish all the time. I buy like Barry M and 2 brands, but I very rarely, in fact I've only got 2 OPIs, treat myself to an API. So I was thinking, every time I go and I get a good like overall blood glucose thing, I could get myself a nail polish, and I thought that would be a nice little way of treating myself. So that's what I'm going to try and do. Another thing I quickly want to mention is I'm going to try to have a talk to my mum at the end of half term, and talk to her about making sure having a set time when meals are, because I think if I know when my meal's going to be, I can get my homework done and I can then have time after the meal not to worry about that, and I can do my insulin straight away, because sometimes I get really stressed out after a meal because I'm like, oh, it's so late and I've got to get homework done, and then my insulin takes a back seat for about half an hour, which is not good. So I need to try and get a nice little routine. So I was going to maybe have a word with my mum and talk to her about that, and also have a little routine where I know I've got set time for homework, a set time to film, so that's more in control, because when my life is more in control and I can get everything done in time and I'm not panicking about things, and I know that I'll have time to do my homework and filming and stuff like that, my diabetes slots in a lot more easily. So yeah, that is like my update. That's stuff that I've decided this week and how this week's gone. I mean, because I've been ill, it hasn't been easy, but I tried, and there were some successes and there were some failures. So yeah, keep going, guys, if you're trying to improve your diabetes and help, and yeah, just generally try and get your blood sugar down, because it's difficult, and I know that, and I know everybody knows what they have to do, and they know what they have to do. It's actually just doing it and being able to do it, and because life is busy and stressful, it's sometimes difficult, you know. So yes, I hope you guys are doing well, and I hope you guys are maybe improving your diabetes, or you've got good diabetes care. I hope I'm not scaring any people who might be newly diagnosed or anything, because that would be awful. It's not that bad, guys. You just have to keep your control, keep up those good habits, because as soon as they go, and they're very, very, very hard to build back up once you've broken them. If you get into a good habit, then you should be fine, as long as they don't break those habits. You have to just keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. It's habits that you need to get into. So yeah, I hope you guys are doing okay. I hope you are joining me on this journey, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.